Good morning, folks. Hopefully you had a chance to take a quick look at the email that went out for the commanders list. It pretty much says it all. I have been doing this a long time. This is by far the craziest and busiest I have ever been in the coin market. Working very, very late. Money's flying everywhere, trying to keep up with cash flow. Metals are coming in, obviously a lot. A lot of people that are involved in the metals market probably are under a fair amount of stress, given that refiners have stopped accepting any sort of silver payments. So they've just kind of closed down while they try to digest everything that's came in. I don't really know a ton of what's going on, but I do want to say this. It is really clear to me, and I write this in the email as well, that the dollar as the economic hegemon of store of value, that day is now over. Like, we have literally got to the point where I think the rest of the world knows that that game is up. I'm not saying that there's going to be a currency replace the dollar, because I think that it's probably one of the cleaner, dirty shirts in the laundry bin. But that doesn't mean that people are going to find another place to store value. Sometimes that's numismatics. Obviously, it's metals, gold, silver. It's going to be actual things, tangible things that take effort and money and labor to produce. It's wild times. Hug the ones you love, buckle up, hold on. It's going to be a crazy ride. I don't want to go too much into anything because I'm not really a political Democrat or Republican. I'm pretty independent, but man, it is wild out there, and I don't know what else to say. I'm just kind of gobstruck. I mean, I've been talking about it coming for quite a while, but here we are. So anyway, I've got a great commanders list for you today. I'm still out there looking for numismatics, and I'm finding great stuff. I'm doing the best I can. Thank you again. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. I really appreciate the attention, and I appreciate the business. So starting out with an 1864 Mint State 65 red brown, really pretty rich color on this coin. L on the ribbon, CAC sticker. This coin, there's been a few APRs that have been in the 2000s. I'm asking 1950 on this. It is lovely. Great piece, no carbon, really, really clean piece. Not anything higher than a 65. This coin is a gem all day, solid B+ coin. Doesn't have enough pop for a 66 in my opinion. But anyway, 1950 for that puppy. And then we have a wide range of other pretty cool stuff that are in the lower values. This one is a 44S Centavo in 64 red. This also has killer rich color, especially on the reverse. I love this coin. It's a very common coin, but it's a great tight piece, especially if you're doing a Philippine set. Obviously, this was a protectorate territory of the United States whenever we did this. A lot of history from Spanish rule to the United States, being a power there, and then the transition to Philippine independence. I love the designs. Anyway, it's a cool thing to kind of like read up on the history, learn more about the world, and also get a cool piece of numismatics, especially when there's this pretty with this much luster. $100, and that's actually expensive for this coin. $100, but it's worth every penny. I'm also losing my voice because I've been talking with so many people on the phone. 1919D nickel, man. 55, huh? Well, it's more like a 58 to me, but whatever. Asking $850. 1919D is one of my favorite dates. Just super silky, satiny CACG coin. They are tough. They're really tough, but every coin that you really see in these holders shows just how meticulous they are about the grading and the standards that they're putting into their efforts there. I do believe in CACG. They're coming along. I know a lot of people would rather have PCGS, and I get it. But stick with me on it, because I'm going to continue to support CACG and CAC. I believe in what they're doing for the good of the numismatic market in the long term. $850 on this coin. All right, and then three really cool, I had to polish this slab a lot, it was pretty beat up. Three really cool, like Cert Cameo Barber coins, type coins. This one a 950, even though it's not a type. This is a key date. This is 2,200 bucks. Just perfect look, even through those kind of hairlines on the holder. It needs a reholder, it really does. Same look on the reverse. Perfect collector coin, key date, $2,200. And then another, and they're all O mints too, which I think is neat. Then a 96.0, this is a little piece of fuzz that's in the holder. I don't know how that happened, but 96.0, again, another perfect circulated cameo look. 385 bucks for this coin. This coin sold way back in, I think, 2012 for 207. So a cool date in the quarters. I love the half 96.0 much better. In fact, I just sold one about 3 days ago. One of my favorite dates, but this is a cool one too. So $385. And then another O mint. This one's $600, a perfect XF. There is a little line. I'm going to try to get it to blink. It's a hairline, maybe like a slide mark. It blinks at just the right angle. But anyway, you can see it. XF40 CAC, $600, which is pretty expensive. But these kind of coins, when they look like this, they're in very high demand. Say this is, I mean, just to be, fully, I'm just looking at it now in the reverse. The obverse, I agree with XF. It's nice. Reverse, I like to see the wingtips go all the way to the wing lines go all the way to the edge for an XF. You should always keep an eye out for that. It is choice and original, so I can see how they're getting there. But nonetheless, just my little numismatic opinion. Still 600 bucks. The plastic and the CAC grade. People that probably have been doing this longer than me, maybe they know better. All right, 1900 O in 66 CAC, white coin, super clean cheek. A lot of new people coming into the market would say this coin's a 7 because it has no marks whatsoever. It's close. This coin is easily a plus, but you need more luster and more pop. This is one of the reasons why, if you look at the overall population of O mint dollars versus S mint dollars, there's so many more 67s in S mints because the luster is so much better on S mints net on net than in New Orleans or even Philadelphia mints, which tend to have kind of this same kind of luster as this 1900 O. This coin is at 550 bucks. A plus coin sells for north of 700, I think. This seems like a great pickup, especially if you're a dollar folk. All right, what do we have next here? Oh yeah, here we go. This is, by the way, how my life feels right now. See all this? It's just clutter everywhere. There's stuff everywhere. Stuff's coming in, silver, packages, checks out. It's nuts. But anyway, in all of that chaos emerges a jewel. A 1936 Arkansas and 63 gold CAC. Got this coin in and I was like, holy mama, that coin is a lot gold CAC. It was a group of 20 that I sent in trying to get 20 gold CACs. This was in it. I went 6 for 20, unfortunately. It's hard to get that many gold CACs. But this one is nice. White coin, really clean cheek, a little sparkly. Coin's pretty much just a 5 all day. But it's an old fat slab holder, perfect hollow, perfect holder, and it is 850 bucks, which is kind of what these things go for. And then finally, the coup de grace, the one that drives the knife through your gut when you see it and you realize you can't afford it, which is how I feel on so many different coins, including this one. If I were still a collector, I would definitely want to be trying to figure out how to put this coin away. Mint State 67, CAC, Saint. What to say about it? Well, there's not many of them. They're in high demand. How do you determine a 67 Saint? What do I look for? Well, I look for great luster, which is what this coin has. In order to be a 7, the coin has to have original color, like deep, rich color. This coin has it. You can see the color in there. Usually has some sort of rainbow in it. There's like light rainbowing on this piece. Not as much as some that you will see in 67 holders. Clean coin. You can have some marks. This coin has some marks. You can see a little bit. Some on the leg. They're minor. Little nick on her arm, one on her boob there. But what you generally don't see is any sort of major issues here. You usually see a good nose. You usually see a lack of any frost breaks right across here. Maybe a tiny, tiny little one right there. And it needs to have outstanding eye appeal. You need to have a clean sun too. I think there's one tick on the sun down there. The luster definitely carries this coin. So I think the last 67 I saw sell, 67 CAC sold for a little over 48 grand. The last 67 plus, which I think this coin does have a shot, sold for 90,000. I am selling this coin for $57,500. Or if that's just crazy because it's too much, then, you know, a 66 with killer color can be found still in the wilds, and it'll cost you 90% less. But if you're looking for that one type coin that is just going to make your heart sing whenever you pull it out of the box of 20, and it has to be a saint, here it is, right? Man, love it. I don't get to handle too many of these, but when I do get to handle them, they sure are fun. All right, folks, I'm going to go back to the craziness. I've got bills to pay. I've got coins to pick up. I bought a little deal up in the North Bay that I'm driving up tomorrow to get. And I'm going to keep trying to beat the bushes and find amazing stuff for you. Thanks again for your attention. Hit the subscribe button. And you know what I'm going to say. Until next week, happy freaking hunting.